So, Chapter 4 is a chapter about the various devatas of the grahas. Now, why do we care about the devatas of the grahas? And why do I talk about primarily the Vishnu forms of the grahas? Parashara, particularly in the very beginning, gives us the forms of the grahas in their Vishnu rupas. Rupa means form. He teaches us that Vishnu rupa. And the Vishnu form of the planets are the most sattvic form of the planet. When we understand that Vishnu form and the story associated with that Vishnu form and the energy of it, we understand the sattvic side of a graha. So Chapter 4 is all about the stories of those avatars, giving an interpretation relative to how they enlighten us to the understanding of the planet. Now, to fully digest this chapter, it's best not to try and read the whole thing straight through. You can at first, but to fully digest it, my suggestion is the planet relative to that day, take that planet. So for the sun, we have Rama is the avatar. And so before you go to sleep, read the story of Rama. And let that story, the energy of Rama, be in your consciousness as you go to sleep, so that you can digest that, so that your subconscious can understand it. And the story of Rama has many hidden teachings about the sun. Teachings that we can't fully grasp if we try and be very logical and physical and scientific. The mythology hides various factors and energies that awaken certain understanding from the inside out, not from the logical mind in. So those stories follow the Graha chapter to take us from a physical plane of understanding the grahas to a very internal understanding, a way of awakening the planet's energy inside through mythology. Then it also mentions some other forms of the devatas connected to the planets relative to different times, different usage. Each planet, it has its Vishnu form. Each planet has its Shiva form. Each planet can take the form of a goddess. And when it takes the form of the goddess, it can take a sattvic form of the goddess, it can take a tamas form of the goddess, or it can take a rajas form of the goddess. It can take any which way. So there's many ways that these planets can be divided into the devatas. One of the key things to remember is that all the devatas are represented by the planets, and all the planets are representing the energies of the devatas. Any devata that you can think of is connected to a graha in some way, shape, or form. And just like we understood that all food in general is ruled by the moon, but relative to certain types of food, there's subcategories. So spicy foods are more connected to Mars, where sweet foods are more connected to Jupiter. So there's a breakdown. In the same way, within the deities, there's main categories and subcategories. So this is the way that we should approach this chapter on Devata. 1, to awaken an inner understanding. 2, when we begin to learn how to give remedies, we have to understand these Devatas. Because as a Jyotishi, when we look at a chart, we're not just looking on one level, we are looking at planets and numbers. We are looking at the karma that those planets and numbers represent. But at the same time, we're looking at an individual's reality. And an individual is a reflection of the universe. And the universe is God. So when we look at that individual, they're just a reflection of the 33,000 deities that are existing in the universe. And we're seeing how those deities are interacting in their chart. which deities are happy, which deities aren't happy. So when it comes to the level of remedies, by understanding those deities, we can tap in and give a remedy at a very high level, where we can tap into that energetic karma through the deity and thereby change the karma from that level. And this is how Chapter 4 should be approached.